to crochet one of your pets. Today I'm going to share my free crochet pet patterns. You can find all of these free patterns on the Lucy Kate Crochet website. I'll pop a link in the description box below, and I'll timestamp the different animals so that if there's one particularly that you're looking for, you can just jump forwards and see that. So yeah, let's check out my crochet pet patterns. Arguably one of the greatest pets on the planet is the guinea pig. This guinea pig is designed very much to be completely beginner friendly, easy to put together, really quick to crochet, and I designed it in this sort of Himalayan guinea pig pattern, which is the darker points, so the dark on the ears and the toes and the end of the nose there. I used some really nice flecked yarn for this one so that it gave a bit of depth and texture to the body, but super straightforward to make. You just grow it from a magic circle at the nose all the way to the end of his bottom, and then a few little unstuffed flat feet to go underneath that give him that very sort of characteristic pose. So that's your guinea pig, and you can make them up as numerously as you like. Remember, guinea pigs like friends, and you can make it in the pattern or the colour of your own guinea pig, or just choose a few different ones. So super fun, that one. Very pleased with that. Nice crochet guinea pig. Another very popular pet, although I think I read recently it's like the third most popular pet in the world. Arguably also kind of one of the most neglected ones. They need a lot more space than you might imagine. And if you've looked into getting a rabbit and realised that actually there's quite a lot to it, maybe you could crochet your own rabbit. I have this little bunny here. I've also got a more sort of classically toy style rabbit as well. It's in some nice variegated yarn, so it's got a lovely pattern, cute little lopped ears there. But this one I made up quite recently, and it's meant to be more representative of that sort of wild style of rabbit. Straightforward brown yarn, grown from magic circles again, and these little dashes of colour to add the highlights to the nose and the insides of the ears. There is a little bit of hand sewing, and I chose to use a wool yarn for the tail so that I could brush it out and give it that really nice rabbity fluffy look there at the bottom. So there's your bunny. Next is my tabby cat, and this one is it is one of the older patterns on my website, but one I'm still really fond of. I actually made it as a gift for my mum in honour of her tabby cat, her ginger tabby cat in fact, when she got him. His name's Billy. Classic sort of cute little toy style with his little ears there, and of course that all important M on the forehead, as all tabby cats have. And if you wanted to make like your own pet cat rather than, and it's not a ginger cat, then you can switch to a brown for your classic sort of more mackerel tabby cat, or change in your colours. My own cat is actually like a tuxedo cat, so he's a black and white cat. So if you wanted to change it up to that, then you could just switch some little white paws for him and maybe like a blaze on the chest or the face. And you can either do them from colour changes in the patterns if you are willing and able to add those in, or just making patches or markings on the surface with either surface crochet or using a yarn needle. So there you go, that's how you could switch that one up, and that's the cat pattern. Moving into slightly more unusual pet animals, we have my sugar glider pattern. This is a dainty little crochet pattern. It's made in a few separate parts, as you can see here. The grey yarn is variegated yarn, so it gives this again shading effect without you having to do too many colour changes. We've got these nice little pink hands and feet here at the end of the lovely wings, and of course the nice nose and ear markings. The black markings on the face, on the head, you're just going to use a yarn needle and a little scrap of black yarn for that. This one is absolutely lovely one to make up because it's a slightly unusual animal, bit of a cool talking point. Again though, legitimately can go on the pet list. You see them in pet stores. Slightly more unusual, but still really quite popular pets. Next we've got the invertebrates. We've got my tarantula and my scorpion. I put them as a pair because I designed them around the same time. They're using the same yarn, a lot of the same techniques. We've got pipe cleaners in there to give a bit of shape and structure to them. Great fun if you love the idea of a pet like that, but it's a bit too much. These are a very cute way of getting a nice unusual animal into your house without the rest of your family fleeing. Staying in exotics next, and we've got the tortoise and the turtle. And the crochet tortoise and turtle, really similar style patterns. They're made in the soft chenille yarn, nice and straightforward, no complicated colour changes here either. The head and the body and the legs all made with this nice sort of creamy brown colour, and then we've got the variegated yarn for the shell, which gives this lovely mottling effect, so you get the look of a shell without having to put overly huge amounts of detail in. And I used some slightly coloured safety eyes for these ones, which I think really bring out the character, and I tipped the head up in this sort of curious tortoise posture just by tying some of the yarn into the head and then further back in the body. And the tighter you make that strand, the more they're going to be peering around curiously as you look at them. So that's the tortoise and the turtle pattern. Straying slightly now into small holding / livestock territory, but I have to add it in. So I grew up with goats as pets, and my parents still have big livestock animals as pets. They've got a handful of sheep, and they are absolutely brilliant. This goat and sheep were made in a very similar style. They're both some of my smallest amigurumi designs. They are fairly detailed, but still really beginner friendly, straightforward shapes and designs, and that complicated looking sort of curly coat on the sheep, that's just made by chaining and single crocheting into the chain. If you're experienced in crochet, you'll know that when you do that, it has some natural curl to it. Just twist that natural curl a little bit more, and then periodically sew it into places on the body and head to bring it out. And you're going to use that exact same technique with the llama and alpaca as well. The llama, I just put a little bit of hair on the top of his head, and the alpaca is well and truly furred up for you. Nice woolly coat. And of course, you know, sheep and alpaca, their wool makes up a lot of the most popular yarns that we have. My favourite yarn is anything that's made from merino wool, probably just for the texture alone. So nice to work with. So they're a great addition on sort of a slightly more unusual bigger pet style thing, but also as crocheters. Back in a more traditional vein now, we're just going to run through the 3 different dog patterns that I've made up over the years. And my oldest dog pattern that I made was this poodle. I made it for my daughter when she was very small. She must have only been about 3 years old. And again, lovely curly coat was really important with that one. That toy was well loved. I do not know what happened to it and where it is. It must be in a toy box somewhere, but it was well loved for several years, that poodle. And several years later, probably about a year ago now, I made a similar toy, which was a Cockapoo. The pattern of which you can find on the website as well, for a really dear friend of mine who has a lovely Cockapoo dog. And finally, the last of the dogs and the last of the pets that we've looked through today. And again, one that I made for a friend is my Pekingese puppy. This was such an interesting one to do because I wanted to give it the look of a Pekingese without making it too flat-faced, so I've given it a little bit of a muzzle. I also used some lovely big yellow sparkly eyes to really bring out the character of the dog there. And the long ears and tail is just strands of yarn cut off, so you do have to do a bit of sewing in and out, but honestly it's not too fiddly and fussy. If you've got a tapestry needle, you'll find it even easier because it's got a bit of a bend in it there. So there you go. Those are the crochet pet patterns that I have made to date. I have so many plans for further pets. I have a lot of animals, of pets in this house, and eventually I would love to have all my pets crocheted. But that's quite a way into the future plan. But for now, I really hope that covers most of the animals that you like as pets or would want to have as pets. But if there's something I've missed out that you'd like to see, let me know. I do take on your ideas, I listen to them, and I do absolutely produce them from time to time as well. So if there's something you'd like to see, let me know. and I'll see what I can do. I might just make up a pattern for you. So all the patterns always free all the time on the Lucy Kate Crochet website. Find that in the links below, and let's have a chat in the comments, and happy crocheting!